Okay, so in your project, you have this fun little workbook, right? And if you go all the way over to the left-hand side, you're probably going to have your data, your descriptive data right there. So this descriptive data, do you guys remember what this is descriptive data of? It's the fastest growing companies from, I want to say like 2005 to 2019, right? So all this data right here is about the fastest growing companies from 2005 to 2019. And so I am going to insert a pivot table. Insert pivot table. And we've made lots of pivot tables before, right? So this particular pivot table, okay, so I've got the data and I'm going to put it into an existing worksheet and I'm going to make what's referred to as a contingency table. A contingency table. And so I am going to put the contingency table right here and I'm going to press OK. Now, with this contingency table, a contingency table basically looks at the X and the Y axis, or, you know, the left and the right side, and it says, contingent on this, what is this? Okay, so I'm going to put, let's say, revenue. I'm going to put revenue right here. Let's see here. I guess okay. We'll do that for now. So, oh, that's why. There's data right below it. So I'm going to go ahead and put these into classes. You guys remember how to put these into classes? What should I do to put these into classes? Bueller? What should I do to put these into classes? What was that? You got to group them. Okay, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to click group. Okay, starting at 0, going all the way up to here. That's really big, and if I remember from my previous one, I'm going to go to 40, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 million, and then I am going to group it by, I think I did it by 2 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see what that does. Okay, so does that look good to you guys? Yeah? Okay, and should I get rid of that blank? Sort, filter, I'm going to hide, I'm going to get rid of that selected item. And now I'm going to click on this again. And to make a contingency table, I'm just going to put this into state. Pretty cool, eh? Now, is this a complete contingency table? Why is this not a complete contingency table? There are no values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag state into values. And then all of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom, it makes a beautiful contingency table. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Does this get you excited about life? Because this gets me a little excited about life. Yeah. Okay. Now, there are a few other things that I could do to this to make it a little bit easier to read. Should I do a few more things to make it easier to read? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to come down to grand total. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say sort, largest to smallest. And bada bing, bada boom, it sorts the grand total from largest to smallest. Okay, and so I'm only going to take maybe the top 20. Should I take just the top 20? What are y'all's thoughts? Yeah? So that's the top 20 right there. So those are the ones that have the most frequent, so I'm going to group the ones that are the least frequent. And I'm going to highlight all those, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say group. Okay. So I grouped all those. So that is group 1. So we're going to call group 1, we'll get to that in a minute. And now I'm going to group 2. So I'm going to highlight all the rest of them, except for blank. And I'm going to do group. And that's group 2. Okay, and then I'm going to blank. I'm going to filter, hide selected item. And so what should I call group 1? What did we call it last time? I think we called it states with low frequency. And then we've got states with high frequency. And this is only if you happen to have something that needs grouping like this. Okay, so, and the really cool thing about groups is you can open them up, so on and so forth. So now we have a complete frequency, we have a contingency table. So what a contingency table does is it says, given that, so if I were to say, given that I am from California, or given that I'm looking at a state from California, what is the probability that my revenue is between 2 million to 4 million, 2 million up to 4 million. Given that we are looking at a state from California, or a company from California, what is the probability that the company is that has a revenue between 2 million to 4 million? What are y'all's thoughts? Yes.
Are you asking how we would get it?
Mm-hmm.
The grand total for just California?
So this,
Right.
the 8 million, or the 8,096.
It would be whatever is, like, the totals for the class that you're looking for out of that.
Okay. So what she's saying is, when we say, given that we are looking at a company from California, what we're saying is, right away, we are only looking at this column, right? Are we looking at any other column? Okay. So of these 8,096 people, what's the probability that we're going to be in this class? The 2 million to 4 million. And the way that we do that is we do equals this, the probability of being in that class divided by that. So given that we are from California, this is the probability that the company that we're looking at is from is in between $2 million to $4 million worth of revenue. Okay. What's the probability that we are looking at a company from California? How do we determine that? What was that?
What's the grand total of, like, the California frequency divided by the grand total for the entire?
Exactly. So it's the grand total for the California frequency divided by the grand total for all frequencies. So what we need to do is you do equals the grand total of California divided by the grand total of all frequencies. And so that's going to give you the probability that your company is from California is 0.134469. Okay? Now, is this a really big contingency table? What do you guys think? Yeah? Would it be a little bit easier if maybe we went to a smaller contingency table? Did a little bit more work with this? Not that one, don't worry. We'll look at this one. Do you guys like coffee? Yeah? Okay, so we've got this coffee contingency table. Okay, can somebody describe for me what I'm looking at? Just tell me exactly what I'm looking at.
A type of coffee slash, oh, no, type of drink along with its price.
Okay, so the types of drinks along with its price, and more specifically, the frequency of the intersection of those, right? So you have the prices of the drinks right here, you have the actual drinks right here, and you have the frequency of how often they were purchased by how many people. How many people are we looking at? How many total people are we looking at? 100 total people. 100 total people. And so this contingency table right here tells us what drinks were bought at what price. Is that accurate? Yeah? Okay, so if I were to ask you all right now, what is the probability of me, or what is the probability of an individual purchasing a water? What would that be? Just give me don't give me the actual answer. Tell me like this out of this.
3 out of 10.
What is it?
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10?
3 out
Okay. Or
or 3 out of 100.
30 out of 100. That's more what I was looking for. So 3 out of 10 is correct, but I wanted 30 out.
Yeah, 30.
You tracking? Okay. What's the probability of an individual buying a latte?
45 out of 100.
45 out of 100. What's the probability of an individual spending $3 to $3.99 on a drink? 2 out of 100. There's kind of like this blank area, right? Like, not too many drinks are between $3 to $4. It's like either a drink is going to be below $3 or a drink is going to be above $4, but it's not going to be between 3 to. Do y'all see that? A little weird. Okay, what's the probability of a drink being less than $3? What's the probability of a drink being less than $3? 34 out of 100. Okay, now I'm going to ask you another question. I'm going to say something, and I want you to tell me how many people I'm looking at. Given that an individual purchases a cold brew, how many people am I looking at? How many? 4. I'm just looking at 4 people. Given that an individual purchases a water, how many people am I looking at? 30. Okay. Given that an individual purchases a drink between $2 to $3, how many people am I looking at?
26.
Not up to $4. $2 up to $3.
24.
24. You see that? When I say up to, what that means is $2.99. Are y'all tracking with what I just said there? When I say up to, that's not including. Okay. Given that an individual purchases water, what is the probability that they spent between $1 up to $2? 10 out of 30. Do you guys see that? Because I said, given that an individual purchases a water, so we're only looking at this, what is the probability that they spent between $1 to $2? Okay, so it's going to be 10 out of 30. Given that an individual purchased a macchiato, what is the probability that they spent more than $4? 1, or 100%. Do y'all see that? Okay, questions about this? Y'all feeling solid? Cool. So that is contingency tables.